Hi, Denise. I'm so happy to finally be cyber meeting you. I feel like we've known each other for years, but it's weird because we absolutely have never met. And I also
I
wanted to
love that.
I know hey, it's part of this online world, isn't it? That you feel like you know people that you've never met. I also wanted to say thanks because it's evening and I know that you've got kiddies at home, so I really appreciate your time. So in interviewing you tonight, what I really wanted to talk about is how we can mesh money, mindset, work with the unsexy side of business that my profit lovers know I'm always banging on about, how we mesh those two things together so we can get them working in unison. Because I think that one or the other is just not enough. It has to be both, right?
Oh, it totally does. And I mean, I'm in a lot of kind of communities of people who are quite woo-woo. And sometimes it really frustrates me because we're like, so what's your plan for that? And they're like, I'll just manifest it. And I'm like, I love manifesting. I think it's great. But it only works when you meet the universe halfway. And I've even said to people, you know what? Marketing is manifesting too. Like you do marketing so you can manifest clients. It's not all just about waiting for things to come to you. And you got to meet the universe halfway. So I'm all there with you.
Good. I wanted to know how you stay motivated because it's a question that I get asked. If I'm ever interviewing anyone and I ask my profit lovers what they want to know, they always ask, how does that person stay motivated?
Well, for me, I've always been motivated by freedom. So like I cannot stand the idea of ever having a job ever again in my life.
That's so good.
So yeah, I was a terrible employee in so many ways. I was motivated. You probably were like this as well, Mel. I could maybe handle motivation for about 4 months, but my attention span for jobs got shorter and shorter and shorter, and I just couldn't fake it anymore.
Mine was going in year blocks. I could go 4, then it was going down to 3, then it was going down to 2, and then it was down to 1. And I thought, well, this isn't working anymore. It's time.
And so for me, I even thought about it today and I was like, what, if I had to get a job, and I was like, no, there's never a time I'd get a job. So occasionally I'll think about that and I go, oh no. And so that's the first thing that motivates me is just how much freedom you have from having your own business, but you have to earn that freedom. As they say in America, freedom isn't free. But the other thing that motivates me is I actually really love being in business. Yeah. So I love ideas and I love helping people and serving my community. So I think just that in itself, I'm so motivated in general. When I worked in a job, you'd have to drag me out of bed. And when I started my own business, I started working myself, I actually started naturally waking up at like 6 o'clock because I was just so happy and excited.
I'm the same. I haven't had an alarm in years. I need no alarm to get up. And when I wake up, it's just like a natural thing. Like you wake up and you're about to start business. I don't have any of that gut feeling anymore. That sinking like, I don't want to go in there feeling.
I used to get hives from going to work. Like no joke, I would get to work, I'd see the building and I'd start to just itch all over. But that being said, just because I love my business and I love getting up to do my business, that doesn't mean that I'm not scared or procrastinate sometimes and all that kind of stuff. But the overall motivation for me is I wouldn't want to be doing anything else. Yeah. And so it becomes a self-motivating kind of thing.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I think for a lot of people, that's Ziggy in the background.
I know. How cute is your dog, by the way?
He's so naughty. Office assistant. I think that people often assume that when women are successful in business that it's money that drives them. And for me, it's not. It's time and it's choice. That's just my key motivator is just time and choice. So freedom, it's, along the same lines, right? And that you cannot get from a job. Another question for you. And this one I think is really interesting because I think there's been a little bit of a shift in who I see in online business at the moment. In the last 6 months, I've seen a lot of people either retreat or go back to work. And I saw this about 3 years ago as well. I've been around for a long time as well. And so I think this is the second time I've really seen this shift. Why do you think that you're still here and you've succeeded and you're still continuing to be successful when others have failed?
Yeah, great question. And the unsexy answer that I always give is consistency. I've made a commitment. Yeah. So I know it's so unsexy though. I've made a commitment even pre this business when I was doing like my practice businesses. I made a commitment that no matter what, I would do a weekly blog post. And back in those days, I would be doing it like an hour before I sent it out, and I'd be like, what am I going to blog on today? But I would send it out no matter what. Sometimes it went at 8 o'clock in the morning, sometimes it went at 10, sometimes it went at 4, but it went out on that day every week. There is a discipline to that I don't think a lot of people necessarily have, or they get bored. And I got bored with my first like 5 businesses, but I just kept on stripping away what didn't work. But I kept that discipline even when I was writing about like my Raw Brides business and my niece's movie reviews and all the other blogs that I've had, my Green Detox Queen one. And it's just that showing up no matter what. And I didn't have something to say every week, but I made myself say it. And now, of course, I batch things and, but I still show up week after week, and there's new content that goes up every week. I honestly think that's the thing that's kept me here, is just that consistency.
I just wrote a couple of blog posts, and I feel like you've just referenced both the topics. One was about if you actually want to be in business or you like the idea of having a business, because having a business is just, posting on Instagram about, sitting in a coffee shop writing down plans. Being in business is about showing up. And the other thing was about imploding in business. And I think that that's been another thing that I've seen you do is slowly up level, and you've talked about getting to that next level and then learning to adjust and then taking the next step, as opposed to people that I see all of a sudden they're turning over hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then I'm just watching them implode. Like their businesses are just blowing up because they haven't gotten used to that new level of income and that new level of success.
Yeah, and I think it's a mindset thing, and I think it's also infrastructure. And actually a couple of years ago, my friend Natalie McNeil, who's an amazing entrepreneur, she said to me, I'm deliberately putting the brakes on this year because I don't have the infrastructure yet to go to the next stage of business. And I thought, you're allowed to do that? Like, I was like, you're allowed to just consciously choose how you build your business. It was like a mind-blowing thing for me. Yeah. And then I went, oh, I get it, because I've made this mistake, for example, of partnering with someone and doing a JV for someone, sending them all this traffic that they literally could not handle. They didn't have the infrastructure for traffic. They didn't have customer service in place. Their systems broke left, right, and center. And to be honest, I wouldn't have been able to handle that if someone big, like 5-6 years ago, had said, let me promote your money boot camp, back when I was like, did the videos myself and hosted it on YouTube and created the membership myself. It would have killed me because I didn't have customer service in place. I didn't have the systems. I was probably still manually sending out people's, login details, all that kind of stuff. So I think I agree. I've seen people, they've created a lot of success because maybe they're good at the marketing piece, or they're great at the social media. They're very magnetic, but they can't handle it yet, and they can't hold it yet. Yeah. So that's why when I say to people, it's totally okay to grow slowly.
Hold it, is I think a really good way to describe it. And I think that I'm always saying to people, I'm not in this. So, when people say to you, why don't you do a podcast? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Because I'm not in this for a short win. I'm in this for a long game. I still want to be doing this in 10 or 15 years, or I still want the capacity to be able to. I don't want to do this, send myself out in 3 years and then be like, well, now I don't know what to do next. And there's no way to come back from this.
My role model around that is Louise Hay, because, she's still alive and she's, not touring and writing books as much anymore. But, she's had a thriving career for, in 60s, 70s, and now she's in her 80s. And you think, holy crap, why do I feel like I have to do everything this year?
Stop.
Like, I've got some books in me. They don't have to be all written this year. I've got the time and space for things to unfold. And, you can't have FOMO around stuff in business. You can't do everything at once, and you shouldn't. And, growing incrementally, you sort of say to yourself, the universe is just giving me what I can handle right now, and I'm building it so I can receive more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear though on the implosion, it's really hard to watch.
It's horrible to watch. Even
it's
if it's a
horrible, but
competitor, I don't care. It's
yeah,
horrible to watch. It makes me sad. And it makes me sad, obviously,
yeah,
from a business perspective, because I think, were you managing your cash flow? And, did you read your profit and loss? And I feel sad about it. I think it's a really sad thing. Next
yeah.
question for you. What do you see women not committing to in business that frustrates you? Because I've got a few that just really grind me. What frustrates you?
It frustrates me that people don't prioritize money mindset or mindset stuff in general as much as they do. At the moment, I think people prioritize branding or like social media stuff, like lifestyle branding, way more than they prioritize the mindset piece. And I think that's the most important thing. So it frustrates me, but also I think there's opportunity for me to educate people a lot. Some people come to my work, they come and do my money boot camp, and they go, I didn't think I had any money blocks until I thought I'll give it a go. And then I was like, holy crap, I've got a ton of them. So I see that for me as an opportunity to actually educate people that you got money blocks. I have money blocks. I have a successful business. I still work on my money mindset all the freaking time. I even had a session with my kinesiologist today about this launch I'm doing to work through some blocks. So I think it's super, super important, and it never ends.
Yes.
It never ends.
What is that saying? Next level, new devil? Like there's always...
Yes. Well, I've heard that, but I say it's new level, old devil, because it's usually the same old shit, to be honest, as it was last time.
I've still got the same. Yeah, it didn't matter if I was earning, 50 or 150. I've still got the same thing.
Yes.
Rearing their damn ugly head. What is your split between, and this I'm really interested in because I am a lover of the unsexy side of business. What is your split between the mindset work and actual unsexy business stuff? So when I talk about unsexy business stuff, it's managing cash flow and looking at a profit and loss and meeting with your accountant. What's your split between those two?
I would say I spend a lot more time on the mindset piece because that's my business, but I also spend a lot of time on my own personal mindset. So I pretty much have some sort of weekly thing. So it could be with a coach, it could be with my kinesiologist, it could be with maybe more of a spiritual business mentor. So that's an every week thing for me. I meet with my accountant quarterly to do planning. I love this, yes, because I don't want to. When I hear people say,
"This is what you do when you have a big business,"
yeah, you have to. We talk about tax planning because when I hear women say, "I've got this unexpected tax bill," I'm like, "How can it be unexpected? How did that come out of the blue?"
My irritation when women complain about the tax they're paying, it just really chafes my ass. I don't want to hear about you complaining about a big tax bill. You've earned how much money? You should be celebrating this. The more tax you're paying, the more you're growing in your business, the more you should be getting excited.
Absolutely.
Nobody wants to pay tax. Like, I'm not saying pay tax you don't need to pay.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we have these conversations every quarter with the accountants, like what's coming up. This is the year, for those of you who are here in Australia, where I have to pay 2 lots of taxes in one go. So I have to pay last year's taxes and I have to prepay next year's taxes.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So my last tax bill was like $270,000. I'm paying another $270,000 next month. And I'll probably have to pay another 80 or so in December. And it's like, you know what? I'm okay with that because I meet with my accountant. He tells me, he told me that a year ago that I needed to do that. So it's not a surprise. And so what we've actually done is we've planned our launches to be a month before massive tax bills are due. So, and this is my little sneaky trick, I've got the money, but it's sat in my mortgage offset account.
Yes.
So I pretend I don't have that money anymore and I challenge myself to come up with my tax bills with new money. That's how I personally motivate myself to do launches. Otherwise, I probably would just be like, let's just do let's not bother launching this year. But it's like, hey, I've got that tax bill due. I don't want to take that money out of the mortgage offset account. Let's come up with some new money for it.
And so there you go with the unsexy stuff. It's pre-planning, it's understanding your cash flow, it's knowing your tax liabilities, it's setting financial goals, and then it's working out what your business needs to do to reach those goals. It's not like throwing some stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. It's like, well, how many people do we need to join boot camp, and how many people are on the list, and what are our conversions like? All of this stuff is the stuff that means that you're where you are today.
And you know what? I really wanted people to hear this. I'm not perfect at this. Like, I'm not a super numbers geek. And I kind of do not the bare minimum, but like I have monthly reports sent to me from my accountant. So I just got my June reports and I look at every expense, because sometimes sometimes my accountant, she doesn't put GST on them, or, you know, she misses out GST. And I think probably 3 or 4 years ago, I would have been really scared about opening those reports. I would have felt really intimidated by it. And it's just from practicing that, you know, I got quarterly reports, now I get monthly reports, and I've got a really nice accountant, and he's okay if I ask kind of stupid questions, because I don't know. But I'm not super perfect at it. I don't do cash flow projections necessarily. I do the kind of the quick and dirty version, but I do it, and I understand what's going on. And I also track my income every day. So I have a spreadsheet, and I go look at my bank balance, and I update it every day. Sometimes if I'm on a launch, I'll do it multiple times a day. But I always have a general sense, and that's not accounting, that's just me putting in a spreadsheet. And
I am,
you know, it's a rough
thing. Pusher of every day writing down what money has come into your business and getting really used to it, so that you can start to, like, almost, I always like to say to women, you've got to disconnect yourself from your business in terms of self-worth. Work on your money mindset, track the numbers. When the numbers aren't doing what you'd like them to be doing, then you can look in multiple places in how to fix that. But if you don't even know what the numbers are, you're never going to identify that you've got a money mindset issue, because you don't even know what the numbers are. I really get frustrated. You know, when I asked you that question about what women don't do in business, it really frustrates you. And you were talking about the money mindset work. For me, it is just not tracking the numbers, just wanting to be completely oblivious to them. It frustrates me. And I think it's a core requirement and responsibility of being a business owner. And if you don't ever want to look at those numbers, either address why you don't want to by working on your money mindset, or get out of business, because you're in a bit of a dangerous position.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can hire people to help. You know, you don't have to do your own bookkeeping. I definitely don't do that. It's not my zone of genius.
Yeah, of
and
course.
You can hire a great accountant. And the thing is, this is where it's the incremental upgrade stuff, right? Because when I first started my bookkeeper, I had a handful of transactions a month.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a hugely expensive exercise. And I think a lot of women think, oh, but if I have a bookkeeper, they're going to see how much I make. I actually found that incredibly motivating, and I found myself like wanting to impress my bookkeeper. It was so weird. At the end of the month, I'd be like, oh no, I've got 5 more days. I haven't hit my income goals. Oh, what's my bookkeeper going to think? And so I would go and like send some emails, and it was actually really motivating, because suddenly, because I wasn't paying myself at the time, suddenly I had an expense. I had overheads, and it actually motivated me to make more money, and it helped me, you know, to see that I was on track and all that kind of stuff too. So I'm a huge fan of having a great finance team way before you think you can afford it, and way before you think you're ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Advice for anyone who's fearful of haters. So my last blog was, I think the last 3 were basically just covered, but I was just talking in a blog about the cost of letting a hater stop you from putting yourself out there. And before I was interviewing you tonight, I was thinking about what significant cost that would have been to you. I mean, oh my gosh, like it's huge. If you had have let that first person who said you're dumb, or you look stupid, or you're talking shit, what would the cost have been to you? So if someone is really worried about that, what advice would you give them?
Okay, so I like to think of it as you're here and your dream life is over there. And the haters are like 10-pin bowling pins in between you and your goal. You think that they're real, you think that they're scary monsters, and really they're just things you can just tip over. Yeah. And if you looked at that and went, wow, all I have between me and my dream is just to like step around these, like, would you really let that stand between you and your dream life? And for me, I mean, when I started my business, you know, I was in a completely different stage in every way, financially and confidence wise, everything. If I could look ahead to what I have now, what I've created, and all it was going to take was to deal with my first 1-star review on Amazon, or someone say, I don't like that you called your business Lucky Bitch, or whatever. If I could see that, I would have just gone, of course it's worth it. Of course it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that first one, it feels like a mountain and it's so scary. But it's really reason to celebrate. Whenever anyone tells me that they got a hater, I'm like, oh my God, this is great. This is a rite of passage that you have to go through. And you didn't die. And it's
a high five moment, right? It's like, right, awesome. You've made it to step one. I remember the first hater I got it on the same day that I was sitting in the doctor's office with my mum, and the doctor said there's nothing more we can do. She had terminal breast cancer, and unfortunately she passed away. And on that day, I think it was the worst timing ever, but it was also like, it kind of fueled my fire, because I thought, you asshole, to do this. That person didn't know what I happened to be going through at that very particular moment. But that has always fueled me, because I've thought, you know, like, in my life, I deserve better than worrying about what somebody's going to say about me. I want insurance for myself, so I'm never in that position. I want to financially make sure my sister's always going to be okay. She's much younger than me. I want my niece and nephew to always be in a financially secure position. I want to know that if something happens, that I can support them. And I'm not letting any bastard out there stop me from achieving that security and safety for the people I love. And so I think that's that dream analogy is perfect. There's that dream of everything you want, and then there's these pins, 10
it's like 10-pin bolt,
and you just got to bowl them over and get them out of your way, and just keep looking at that. It's a perfect analogy.
But you know, I'm really sorry to hear about your mum, by the way.
And it's the fuel under the profit lovers. You know, it's women, you are going to work at getting profit and financially protecting yourself.
But when you think of real things like that, like losing your mum or having, you know, real challenges in your life, you think that stuff pales into comparison. Like if someone goes, oh, I don't like you, you just think, that's not fucking real. Like, who cares? That's not real. Exactly.
Your shitty opinion doesn't pay my bills.
It really doesn't. And I really want to tell people too, actually, I don't get a lot of hate. And I don't know if it's because, I don't know, I'm not very controversial or whatever, but I think the fear of it is greater than the reality of it. In most cases.
And I can be quite blunt. And I tend not to get a lot of it either, but I think that maybe when you attract the right person, maybe we just don't notice a lot of it.
And I kind of shrug it off. So I think people just don't bother, because I'm just like, whatever. And also I've got infrastructure now. I've got customer service people read my emails. I wouldn't have a clue if I get hate mail anymore, because Amber would never forward it to me. Oh, take a look at this, what this person thinks about you. But I think the fear of it is the worst bit. And actually most people fear it right at the start. They fear their very first one. And then once you do that, that's what's going to take for people to be successful, honestly. I could have very easily just gone, I'm not meant to do this, like a lot of people do, because they cannot handle it in any shape or form. If you just go, oh my God, I'm still alive. That didn't. All right, let's do it again.
You can cry. Like I sit in the cupboard and cry. You can sit in the cupboard and cry, and then get over it. And then remember why you're doing what you're doing. And that person's just, their opinions are not worth you missing out on this amazing thing. All right, I don't want to keep you too much longer, so I've got one last question for you. And I am well known for very blunt business advice. I don't add any fluff or sparkle to it. What is your number one piece of blunt advice for women? Go hard.
I can't be too hard, actually, because it's not necessarily in my personality to do it, but I think it takes more than you think, and not everyone's going to make it. And that's probably as blunt as I can get. Like,
I love it.
But why not you?
Yes.
Why not you? And you have to be okay in yourself to be the exception to the rule, because not everyone's going to make it. Not everyone can, because they don't have the courage, or they don't have the persistence to do it. But you can, and it's all right for you to be the one.
I love that. That's a great piece of advice to end on, because I think when start of this year, when there was a lot of transition happening in other people's online businesses, I had to keep saying to myself, it's got to be someone who's successful at this. May as well be me. So I like that advice. Love it.
Yeah. And a mantra that I say too, it's like, money can be made in any economy, which is absolutely true.
Absolutely.
And we've all got our excuses about why we can't be rich. And I used to have an excuse of like, oh, I don't look like I'm rich, or, I need to lose some weight or whatever. It was like so many BS excuses. And then I just started saying, why not me?
Yeah.
Why not me?
And
then I say it to other people. Why not you? And the best news about it, though, is that there doesn't have to just be one. There's so much room for so many of us. It's not a Highlander situation that we have to kill everyone else so we can be the only one.
Yeah.
It's not like that. There's so much room for all of us. And so it's like, you've got to be okay to stand up and be part of that, that group that does make it, because why not you?
I love it. Love it. Thank you so much. I've really appreciated it. It's been lovely talking to you. And I just wanted to mention that you have a live round of boot camp coming up, which I think is
amazing. Do. So
first, is it? I shouldn't have on this, because I know that earlier today you were on a Facebook Live and you were like, I don't know. And Mark was there going, Denise, it's this date. But I think it's August.
I know.
It's first
we
week.
kick off on the 7th. Yeah, we kick off on the 7th for actual boot camp round. And the early bird, I think, ends, I want to say the 1st or the 5th. It'll be on the sales page anyway, that
I'll make sure
Mel will post on there.
All of the details underneath the video so that people can jump on and have a look. I'm really excited for that for you, because I know how much value quite a few of my profit lovers got, and the live they raved about. So that's really exciting.
Yes, it is. And you know what? We launched this course in 2012. And there's so many times I could have just gone and done something else, because when you do that, you go, oh, maybe I should do something else. Maybe I should do something else.
Or I've sold it to everybody who's ever going to buy.
Exactly. And the true deep transformation has come from being consistent in my zone of genius, doubling down on this course, which has just grown and grown and grown. This is the 4th version of this course. We make it better and better each time. We did one live round last year, but then we hadn't done one since 2012. And so it's kind of rare that we do this, which means that everyone does the course at the same time. We have live calls, we have webinars, we have live challenges, all that kind of stuff. So it's that momentum where people can come in, work on their money stuff, throw things into the fire that aren't working anymore. So you can give yourself the best chance of success.
A nice collective energy going on, right?
Definitely. And I love being in that group. It's a very friendly, very inspiring group, and it's the kind of environment you need to work on that money stuff. You don't have to be alone.
Well, I will make sure I share all of the details with my profit lovers, because I know that they're hanging out for this. And thank you once again for joining.
Thank you so much. All right, I'll see you again soon.
Bye.